As some people are joining us. Happy New Year, everyone. Glad you can make it. Just kind of get some of my notes together here. And then today we're going to be going through the like building your 2021 real estate marketing plan. So I'm going to have some things for you that I can share. Let me share those with you right now, actually. So I'm going to share a couple documents with you. So we have here the marketing plan that we'll be discussing a little bit later. So this is a fillable form that you guys can go through. I wanted to give you some kind of ideas and some strategy with some social media marketing plan first. So that might help you out. And then here's another document with 100 plus real estate marketing ideas. So that might kind of help you fill out this first marketing plan document. And then I also have an additional, it's a 135 goal template page that will help you, kind of idealize some of those goals that you might have. So we'll be taking a look at some of those throughout this today. And then, so you'll have those to refer back to. And then the 2021 real estate marketing plan, that is something that you'll be able to fill out. It's a fillable PDF that you can, go ahead and complete your marketing plan through that. And that's built off a Zillow template, basically. That kind of redid a little bit for you guys. So let's get started here. So what is your 2021 real estate marketing plan? So business without a plan is like a ship without a compass, a rudder or a flag. No one knows who it is, where it's going, or why it's even set sail. So a good marketing plan can set you up for success, identifying the tools and messages to effectively reach your audience, to better service your clients and differentiate yourself from your competition. So some of the things that we're gonna be going through today, we're gonna go through, like I mentioned, the social media marketing plan to begin with, which, obviously there's, like I've just given you here, there's hundreds of different ideas of ways to market yourself. So we'll take a look at some of those later. But this one we're gonna go through first is kind of like a social media plan. And this is kind of an aspirational one for you to some degree, because I know very few of you guys are kind of really doing like any sort of video. So hopefully this might give you some sort of ideas or some sort of system that you might be able to get in place in order to, whether it's video or, even some sort of blogging or podcasting, something like that. In order to basically create content that you could then share out, reuse, put into email marketing, put onto your different social media platforms, and then even reuse that content later. And then we'll go through that document that I shared with you, the 2021 real estate marketing plan. So we'll go through that and kind of discuss how you fill that out, okay? To create that, because everyone, you're gonna have your own plan for yourself. So this way we'll just be going through that. Not in great detail because, we'll go going through how you fill it out, but each one of you is gonna fill it out differently, okay? So here's just some little things I found, just get you thinking. So referral, 91% of buyers and sellers are ready to use their agent again and would recommend them. But we see that about 16 to 18% actually do use them. So it's not a huge number that actually go back and use it. And a lot of times it's because the number one reason, I don't know if anybody wants to chime in, but do you know what the number one reason why people don't use their agent that they previously used? No one? They forgot who they were. So that's the number one reason. So by marketing yourself and staying in front of those people, that's the way you can, you know, get, obviously make that not happen to you. So online presence, 52% of buyers found their home that they purchased, and 97% of buyers use the internet during their search. So, you know, being online is, you know, obviously something that needs to happen. Let's see. The top 2 searches yield the highest quality leads. Social media and like MLS websites, so like your search websites, and not necessarily like the Zillows and stuff, but they like for your own personal website that people can search for homes on, that you can send your clients to. And I mean, I know a lot of you guys you use the internal systems that are through the MLS for the auto, for the, you know, listing alerts, and that's great. But you could also do that through your website, which will then, you know, keep building traffic to that website. We're not going to be going through a lot of that stuff today, but just so you know that's, but basically social media is another one of those, and we'll be talking about that here. So 88% of buyers purchase their home through an agent or broker. So, you know, obviously that's going to be, you know, you guys. Technology virtual tours have increased almost 200% in the past year. 80% of millennials and Gen Xers found their homes on mobile devices. So mobile friendly stuff, video, virtual tours. So we're going to be talking kind of quite a bit about, well, not quite a bit, but, you know, a decent section on video. Buyers first impressions. So 73% of buyers only interview one agent. So being that first person to get back to that to the buyer is huge. And then we have your own website. So the 3 most popular information sources for home buyers to search for home search is online website, real estate agent, and mobile app. So having all, obviously you're the agent, you know, you do have those apps that are available to you, and then, you know, having a website as well. All right, so what should we be doing on social media in 2021? So posting without a strategy is like throwing something against the wall and hoping it sticks, right? You've heard that before. So without having some sort of plan, all you're doing is just randomly putting up stuff, right? I mean, you find some article here, you post a listing there, but there's no real strategy behind that. That is your strategy, is just finding something to throw up there. So hopefully today we can kind of get you through some sort of strategy. So here, what we're going to be talking about through this little system that we're talking about for the social media is, you know, how to stay in touch with your clients and past clients more effectively on using social media, generating new business to attract clients through social media. So so first we're going to be talking about like time blocking. So one thing that you can do, and I guess you've been to some of my classes before, you probably heard me talk about this, but there's the friends list on Facebook where you can go through and add all of your clients, past clients, anybody who you want to stay engaged with into one of those custom friends lists on Facebook, where you could just go to that list, you know, daily, weekly, when you're going to go. Well, I guess you should be going daily, and then going through and then commenting, liking, and engaging with those people. So there is one tactic called the Focus 5, where you go through and you try to basically like, comment, or engage with 5 people on social media. So, and that doesn't mean, you know, like say you see somebody happy birthday, maybe instead of just wishing happy birthday with like happy birthday, try to think about that Focus 5 and try to, when you do comment, usually it's like 5 words. You know, maybe try to ask them a question to engage with them, or you know, if you obviously you know these people, so maybe there's a way to you know, what they're doing for their birthday or for the holiday or whatever it is, in order to get some sort of engagement back. So instead, you know, because you see all the happy birthdays and it's just, you know, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. But when you have somebody who, and then people they go back and like it. But then if you really stop, maybe throw some additional language in there in order to get them to come to respond back to you, that's going to get that engagement where the people will now remember you over those other 100 people that just put happy birthday. Okay. So another thing too is the daily is to respond to all any comments. So if you are out there posting, or you did leave comments on other people's posts, and then now you see those notifications, or go back and then try to reply back to all those as well. Because with engagement, so say you posted a listing or some sort of sold, or something that within your work field, and somebody does go and comment on that, by you going back and engaging with it and commenting on it, that's going to show it to basically show that people are engaged with that post, and then potentially show it to more people. So that whole social network thing will expand that reach of that post that you did. So maybe you sold something, you have somebody out there with holding the sold sign, whatever it may be, people are congratulating them. You go and or saying great job to you, and then go back and respond to those, and that'll get that reach out to even more people. Okay. And then also that's where it can keep it longer in the timeline. So say, you go back and comment a day later. Now that's that post that might have been kind of missed by people that, went through, or didn't get to them and originally. By you commenting on that and creating more engagement on that post, that could extend the life of that post by showing it to more people for longer. Okay, so that's kind of like the algorithm working by people engaging with the posts. So that's one way to kind of stay in front of these people more. And remember to check out those friends lists. And I probably have videos already done on that, which I could try to maybe link in. Let me make a note of that on my notes here. So friends list video. That when I share out the video of this, I can also link to the video of the friends list that I've talked about before. So so now you had, maybe that's only 10, 15 minutes a day that you might be. So block out some time in your schedule to go through and do those that focus 5 and responding to comments. It's not going to be a lot of time, but in the long run, you'll get a lot more benefit out of it. Okay. And then weekly, maybe plan 30 to 60 minutes a week to schedule out pieces of content. So, I mean, usually it takes me a little bit of time because I'm, creating all the videos for your different listings, and then putting together all, your words, and then scheduling stuff out and finding new articles and creating new artwork for each article that I share out. So it does take me probably at least, an hour, but that's creating all the videos and stuff as well, to schedule out. But we're doing what, 2 posts per day. So that's a lot more than 3 to 5. So you guys should be under, maybe closer to the 30 minutes to schedule out, 3 to 5 pieces of content ahead, just to kind of work on that. And I do have some tools, later on that will help you with that. And then maybe do, like a monthly. You'll want to think about which I'm going to talk about here is some pillar content. Some content that's going to be a bit more content it'll take more time, maybe more money, more energy, and more resources. So so keep that in your back of your mind here, because we're going to be talking about that right now, is the pillar content that you can try to create. So like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of aspirational. But remember that, it might take a little bit of time, but just if you get into a routine of this, by creating that content is where you're going to be able to reuse, and then also, basically set yourself apart from other agents who are not doing this type of thing, as well as use this stuff in a bunch of different bunch of different avenues. So as far as, maybe, like I said, sending it out to your database in a monthly newsletter, you know, staying in front of, even texting. There's a bunch of different ways we'll be talking about, but leads from great content are so much better. So by creating that content, because really, what are you sharing out on social media? A lot of times, you know, it's just going to be your listings, maybe some articles, stuff like that. But a lot of it, you're not like creating a lot of content for yourself. But you guys get asked questions all the time that it's very easy for you guys. And I know it's difficult because you think like, oh, I can't get in front of the camera. I can't do this. I can't, you know, I don't know how to do it. But it just starts with doing it to begin with. So, so what is some pillar content? So like I said, it might require some more time, more money, more resources. So like you said, you might not know how to maybe edit that video, and you might have to get some help. And I'm here for you guys too. If you guys shoot some video and you need help kind of cutting it down, or you need like a one-on-one where just see, which I'm going to give you some tools here later in order to edit video. So if you wanted to splice that video apart, put those maybe 3 pieces together, and then put some text on it, that I can show you how to do it. It's not as difficult as it seems, but maybe that's not something that you want to do, and that's where it might require some of that money, okay, to get somebody to do it for you. But this is, you know, basically you want to create valuable information in your voice with your opinion, okay? Because, you know, everybody else, there's all a million different sources where you can probably go and send somebody to answer one of the questions that you get asked every other day about real estate, but nobody's doing it in your voice, right? And nobody's doing it with your opinion and behind it. And I know a lot of people that's like, oh, I don't like the way I sound, I look, whatever, but it is who you are. Embrace it. Do I love doing this on camera? Not necessarily, but it is what it is. You know, it's like it's not necessarily your job, but you're out there meeting people in person. You're talking with them. They're seeing you. What's the difference if you're getting in front of them through video? Okay, so you don't want it to be canned. You don't want it to be boring. You don't want it to be automated. You want it to be you, right? And like you're the only one who can make it you. Okay. So some things that you could do. So there's you know, recorded video, some video content. You do like Facebook Lives, podcasting, which really is kind of newer. I mean, it's been talked about for years now, but there's a lot more agents getting into it now, or just people in general, not even agents. I mean, there's all sorts of people doing it, and it's really just getting your voice out. And we'll be talking about how that stuff can be used here shortly. Blogging, which that's been talked about forever too. But hopefully this can kind of get you thinking about it, because decide what you want to do. You know, maybe you could just, where am I at here? Pick a day once or twice a month that you'll be able to publish. So basically, depending on what you're going to be doing, you want to create some sort of consistency behind this, right? So at first, you know, maybe start off with doing once a month, because, you know, that's going to be something that's obtainable. You know, I mean, I know that there's agents doing videos, or there's, you know, all sorts of people doing stuff, but specifically about real estate, you know, maybe once a week. Some people are even doing even more than that. But, you know, if you could get to once a week, that would be amazing. But I mean, you know, and then think about, you could even do a weekly, you know, a real estate market update for Santa Clarita once a week. I mean, and it doesn't have to be like this long form, 2-hour long, like podcast thing. You could just do a short 3-5 minute video about the real estate market for the weekend, what you see happened, what you see potentially coming up in the future. And once you get that down, it's just going to be like clockwork. Once a week, you can go in and record that, be done. You shoot it out. You have an email now that can be sent out to your contacts. You have something that can be put on to YouTube, something that can go to Facebook, something can go to IGTV, on Instagram, and now you're in all these different places showing yourself as that, you know, local real estate expert who knows the market, right? So just think about that, and then batch create content. So say, a weekly market update isn't really a great thing to batch content, but say you have, go through and make a list of some of those questions that you get asked, and then maybe take 3 of those questions and then film 3 of those videos all at once. And now you have 3 months worth of content already done. So you're not going through every month trying to figure something out at the last minute and doing it. Maybe plan ahead. And I'm going to go through, I shared out those goal setting templates, and then that marketing plan. So, this will all be stuff that you could fill in through there. And that's kind of want to go through this, is to get you thinking about it, because we have the whole real estate marketing plan fillable template that we'll be taking a look at here after we talk about this. So this might get you some ideas of what to fill in there, okay? But to batch create, so instead of, like I mentioned, instead of just last minute trying to come up with some idea for the month, maybe think about it, do 3 at a time or 4 or 5 at a time, however, you can get it to work, and then create those videos all at one shot. And then now you have it ready to go. And then that's where you can schedule it out. And we'll take a look at the scheduling here shortly. But let's take a look at some of this different content that you can be creating here for some good pillar content. And that's like some good, strong content that you can, that, like I said, that's going to be invest more time, money, energy, and resources. Okay. So some video content, what are some pros of that? Video content tends to get the most traction online on social media. The con, you have to be on camera, right? So that's like one of the big ones that people don't. That's like one of the biggest sticking points for a lot of agents, is that they do not want to get on the camera. Blog content. So blog content, what that is like SEO, like being found on search engines. So when people are looking up different real estate related topics, some of those questions that you get asked, people are Googling those as well, right? So if you are answering those questions in some sort of page on your website, then that's going to be able to help you get found. But they could require more time to write, and it takes more time to get traction with those, right? So in order to be found, in a lot of cases, I mean, with blogging, you can write the greatest, most perfect, excellent blog in the world, and you could have nobody people reading it, right? So that's where the promotion of it comes in, and getting it shared out properly on different channels, and then maybe even paying to get people to see it in order to get that ranking up higher. Podcasts, so they can be fun, easy to talk with, and you're not being filmed, but they can require some more technical skills, like because I'm sure, but there are some which I should have been. I'll get some of those listed out. I'll share this whole presentation out, and I'll add some to it when before I share it out. Some different podcasting platforms out there, and you can use some that are free that will go right to iTunes, to some of the different podcasting places where people can find you besides like looking you up. But what's nice about podcast is some of these templates will also give you a whole transcript of it, and that can help you with that, kind of create it into like a blog post. So now you can take your podcast, have it a page on your website that then also has all the words of what you talked about in your podcast listed. And maybe you don't put all the words, but you put a section of it, which then ties back to when people are searching for something on Google, they can find you by finding that page online. Facebook Live. So Facebook Live, they get a ton of engagement while you're doing it, but you can't batch record those. So you're not unable to, like we mentioned, if you had like 3 great topics that you want to talk about, you're not able just to record those 3 all at once. I mean, you could, but that would be 3 live videos in a row. So it's not as conducive to doing the batch record, but it does get a good level of engagement. And you can also download those videos from Facebook, and then maybe put those onto YouTube and reuse those in other places. So what type of pillar content can you commit to in 2021? Don't say all or none. Pick one, and hopefully you guys can get a plan together. And if you need help or additional resources to get some of this stuff going, let me know. I'm always here for you and available to help. So hopefully you guys can maybe pick up one of those, and maybe do, even if you do one a month, or if you could get to one every couple months, at least get something going, and maybe try to create some content for yourself that can be shared out and be used. And so here are some examples of some pillar content. So here's some agents, a couple agents that have been creating videos. So it looks like, this one, these are both out of area. Leanne, she's from Detroit, and Alana, I forget exactly where she was from again. But so this one in the back here, this is like Facebook. So you can see they all kind of have some sort of, it's a whole, a catalog of videos here. So we have, she does it episodic. So we have episode, 94, 95, 96, going through with also listing videos and stuff in there. So this is her YouTube channel. So where you can put that, use YouTube videos where people could be found, as well as you can put those in a number of different places, which we'll talk about here in a second. But you can kind of see how people are doing this. They're creating, these are kind of branded to all look the same. She puts in, big text in there. So it's, in order to get the people looking at those thumbnails. And that's a whole thing too. It's like what thumbnail you can be using for that as well, but we're not going to be going deep into that here. But that's something to think about, is how you're going to get it to look on your channels. Okay. So you brainstorm what your brand is going to be all about, define your voice and define your content. So here's 3 questions you could ask yourself. What type of contents do you love to work with? Why or why not, and why? So, and this is going to be kind of filled in stuff that you'll be able to fill in, like your type of client, my brain, sorry, kind of a persona of the person that you want to work with, right? And then, why do you love what you do? What is the most important to you professionally and personally? So these are things that you can kind of think about in order to get yourself going. But remember, you can't be all things to all people. So kind of pick a lane and stay in it to some degree. You don't have to try to go all over the place in order to, because you said you can't be all things to all people. So be yourself, and then really if you're just yourself, that's going to be your best route. So you could brainstorm, write down some of those questions that you get asked. Every time you're asked a question, make a note of it, and it'd be a great great piece of content to create. So you can kind of even use like a Google Docs to keep yourself organized. So this would be a good way to kind of build up the type of things that you're going to create. But I mean, you think about it, you get questions all the time about, buying a house, selling a house. I mean, there's this unlimited number of questions I'm sure that you're getting asked about the number of things that you're working on throughout the day and throughout the transaction process, right? And they don't have to be, like I said, they don't have to be like huge long form videos. They could just be something short, quick, simple that you're creating and getting made. So now it's time to decide how and where the content will be shared and what platform is best for you. So what platforms you're going to be sharing your content on, what should be you using and why. So where are you at? Like, what do you use? What platforms are you on, or from your clients on? Where do you enjoy being? Do you like being on Facebook versus Instagram, or Instagram versus Facebook, or if you're not on a number of these channels, then it's okay. You don't have to be on every one of them. I mean, remember, social media isn't the end all be all. It's just one avenue for you to market yourself. So I recommend being on the one that you're actually going to use, because I know for years everybody just got on every single platform they could get on, and then they only posted one thing on it, and then when somebody goes to look you up, it's not impressive. So you're better off having one or two impressive platforms rather than 5 that are barely being used at all, right? So where do you enjoy being? Just be there. Where your clients hanging out, so most people probably with our agent, probably most of them are going to be on Facebook. Yeah, there's probably people going to Instagram. I bet most people are not on Snapchat, not on TikTok. I mean, maybe they're definitely a lot of them are going to be on YouTube. Some going to be on Pinterest. There's going to be definitely a lot of agents and people on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is trying to get to become more of like a Facebook platform instead of just like a job search platform. But there's a lot of professionals on there. So I mean, there's things you can think about, and that'll help you figure out what your distribution plan looks like. Okay. So meaning where you're going to put that content once you create it. So here's some content that might be scheduled. So say you create something, create a video, whatever you create, you might share it on Facebook or YouTube and Facebook on Monday, then you schedule it for something, schedule the post for LinkedIn a week later. Maybe you turn it into that video into a blog post now. So now you add that to your website, and maybe write out a little bit of what you're talking about in that video. And then now you can repurpose that content, right? So now that could be maybe put into a newsletter to your clients that link to your website, all right? Or the YouTube video. So you turn that, yeah, so I kind of went through that one here, turn it into a blog post. A few days later, you could create a small graphic on Instagram, because Instagram, remember, you can't, it's not a linking platform, so it's going to be like video or photo. You could do an Instagram story, maybe talk about how you have a new video out on Facebook or on YouTube, or there's even more advanced strategies which we're not getting into today, but you could actually, through your IGTV, you can create an Instagram story that links back. So you can create the Instagram story that links to your IGTV to watch that video. You could maybe share it again on Facebook in a couple weeks, because remember, Facebook, like these platforms are not exactly, they're not showing your post to everybody all the time, right? So if you're sharing something out, I mean, it could be as small as 8% of your followers to 20% maybe, if you're lucky to get to see your post. And then once it gets engagement, like we talked about earlier, likes, shares, comments, like that is when it'll start to expand that reach out to more and more people. But you're really not getting it out to a lot of if you have 1,000 friends, and you'll be lucky if 200 of them actually saw that post, right? So if you reshare it out again in a couple of weeks, maybe you're going to hit more of those people. So don't be afraid to reshare some of that content that if you spent a lot of time, effort, to create some of this pillar content, to actually reshare that out. And then you could include it in like an email newsletter. So video can be repurposed in a number of ways. So even with like a podcast, so podcast, you upload that, and like I mentioned, some of those platforms will automatically share your podcast directly to, I mean, obviously you have to have an account, but you can link it all. So then once you create that podcast, it will then go to like a searchable on the YouTube, on iTunes, on Spotify, those types of platforms where people listen to podcasts. And then you could turn that into a blog post. Some of these, those tools, the podcasting tools, will actually transcribe your whole entire, or sections of it, or, you can kind of fine tune it depending on the platform of how you can export that out. Maybe it's just some blurbs, some snippets of some of the different talking points that you have throughout that podcast. You can copy and paste that right into the section of your website. Now that is something that will then Google scans your site, so you have it on, you know, something related to buying a house or selling a house, and somebody's searching for something online, they can also find, since Google scans it, it picks up, maybe they Googled exactly what you were talking about in that podcast. Now that can come up in those Google search results, and you have a much better chance of being found in that sense than somebody looking like, I want to buy a home in, you know, Santa Clarita. That's going to have all the major sites. But if they're searching for something that's related to that blog post, then you're going to be one of maybe a handful of agents who've locally talked about that topic, if even any at all, right? So so that's how you can get found better on like Google, by creating that blog post. And then maybe you share a few days later, you know, on the Instagram, share as an Instagram story. You know, you could share it as Facebook story as well, link it to your, you know, put it in your monthly newsletter. Okay. So think about what types of pillar content, and then think of 4 or 5 different ways you can utilize that content. All right. So here's like an example of like a schedule. So if you do create some sort of content, you know, you can put it on Facebook on Tuesday, you know, upload a 1-minute section, because Instagram, you know, has different video things you could do for video and for advertisement, stuff like that. You need to be shorter. You could upload it to YouTube. Then, you know, maybe a few days later, you reshare it as a new post. Or you could also reshare to make it look like a new post, which we're not really talking about here today, but it's one of the tools I'll be talking about later, or I'll recommending later through your Facebook. You can go back to an old post and then like kind of reshare that out as a new post, but it'll keep all those video views. So it'll look like a brand new post, but it'll keep all those video views from the original post. So it'll make it look like already, you know, 100, 200, 300, 400, 1,000 people already watched it, even though you just shared it out right now. So Instagram, you know, create a story about it on Friday, Sunday, upload it to IGTV, promote it through the IG stories, okay? And then you could fill in your other content between it, right? So now that's your pillar content that you spent that effort on creating. And now you kind of fill it in with Monday, you do like a market update. Wednesday, you do, you know, like a Wisdom Wednesday or Throwback Thursday, or, you know, list of houses, you know, which open houses don't really apply right at this moment unless you're doing some virtual stuff, but, or those appointment only. But, you know, Saturday, you could have something else. So now you're filling in that content in between with information, you know, just more generic filler content rather than that pillar content that you've you know, spent that time and effort on. And here's like a content grid. So the content grid is something that just something to help you fill in some content in between. So, you know, it's for local information, which I've shared this out before, which I like it. I mean, it's probably 5, 6 years old now, but it's a good kind of just a good baseline thing for inspiration and ideas for what to post. So, you know, different decorating ideas, you know, just filler stuff. So it's a 12-month, then you could download the 12-month calendar from Calendar Labs. And, you know, you can kind of, it's a place where you can just download a calendar and then kind of fill it in to create that content calendar for yourself. Oops. And then I did include this in the documents that I shared with you, the 1-3-5 goal setting template. So this might be something to help you get started. You know, pick your main goal, then you have 3 strategies to achieve that goal, and then 5 tactics to reach those 3 strategies. So this is something that, you know, you guys could fill in at your own time, but I just wanted to make sure I included that with you guys. So then once you're doing this stuff, you want to evaluate it. So you can go to Facebook Insights or Instagram Insights or Google YouTube Analytics, and you can kind of see what's working, what isn't working. You know, you can go look at this post generated this amount of clicks or likes or engagement, where this one didn't, and you can kind of see what of that content that you're sharing out is being actually utilized by your followers. So you can see what titles were most effective, maybe what the thumbnails, like I mentioned earlier, some of those video thumbnails. Maybe you put some of those big text inside an image, and that got you a lot more clicks than just the default thumbnail that came from the video. Did certain pieces of content perform better on Instagram versus Facebook? So you can kind of see, okay, this type of content created worked better on this platform versus this platform. And then those analytics will kind of help you inform you on what you're going to be doing next. Here's some of the recommended tools that I have for you. So Canva, WordSwag, those are similar. Same with kind of InShot and Cut Story. So those are going to be like tools that you can use in order to, you have like a photo, you want to add text to it, you want to resize it to fit a certain platform, you want to put it into collages, those types of things, you're able to use those. So those are good apps that you can use, and also some of them are available on the computer. Like Canva, you can do stuff online on the computer as well as in the app. So those are going to be, like I said, for adding text to images or to videos, those types of things. Videorama, Video Shop, and Splice. Those are good for like editing video. So say you're recording something on your phone, you could do it right through those apps, and then you can go through, maybe chop the beginning off, the end off, maybe put this clip next to this clip that you just recorded in order to, create your video, put it together. You could add some text in the image or in the video. Maybe you start off with some text, with the title of the video. It goes in. You just add like maybe a transition, like a fade transition that fades in from the text into the beginning of your video. You could even like record voiceover things on these, or I know Splice you can for sure. So even if you have, some images that you put in and spliced in, that didn't have any audio, you can kind of voice over that. So these are good free. Well, Splice for sure is free. The others, they're free with probably update, more options to upgrade. Hootsuite, Later, Buffer, those are going to be tools that you can use for scheduling out your content. So you want to schedule out, to, like mentioned, maybe create that content, and then you could fill in those other pieces and you could schedule all that out. So now when you do time blocking, you set your, 60 minutes for the month, you can go through and plug in these different content throughout your scheduling tool. And then that way, you don't necessarily want to set it and forget it, but you can definitely utilize these in order to make your life easier, And then you could also use those to like look at those engagement. So you can see, at least in Buffer, I'm sure all of them, I specifically use Buffer, but you can go back through the analytics and then see, okay, this post got this many clicks, and then that's going to be set up for all the different platforms that you shared it to. So each platform, you can go back, look, and see what post did what on that platform. Creator Studio. So Facebook Creator Studio is I love it. It's like really the only way that you can schedule out. So say like Buffer, Hootsuite, those, you can schedule out like Instagram, but what it does is Instagram doesn't allow third-party apps to schedule for you. You can schedule it, but it's going to send you a notification to your phone, and then you have to go through your phone and then actually share it out on Instagram, which kind of defeats the purpose. But if you go through Facebook Creator Studio, you're able to actually schedule out your Instagram posts right through the Creator Studio, which is, that's like, for somebody who does this day in and day out every single day, that's like a game changer for for social media marketers. being able to schedule out social or post directly from your computer. So you guys, I'm sure you didn't realize that you could post to YouTube or to Instagram directly from your computer. Because if you just go to Instagram, you can't post, right? You can go and comment like those types of things, but you can't actually post anything. But if you go to the Creator Studio, which is business.facebook.com/Creator Studio, one word, you'll be able to go in and schedule out those posts as well as post directly from your desktop computer. Business Suite is kind of an update. It's kind of, that's not brand new. I mean, it's a couple months old, which I guess is probably brand new in the world of, in the world of social media. It's not brand new, it's already old. But I mean, you know what I mean. It's new, probably to you, but it's kind of, it used to be the Facebook Pages app. If you had the Facebook Pages, it might have already updated to that Business Suite, where you can also, see what's going on in your Instagram and your Facebook account right from one app. Okay. Feedly is a tool to get content. So if you just wanted generic, kind of stories about real estate or home stuff, related articles, local articles, those types of things, you can create your own feed in Feedly that gives you all of your stories all in one location. So you don't have to go searching the web for all these different stories. You can just go to this one place and get all of that information in one area with all these different stories from, real estate or just home related, interior design things, landscaping tips, local stories for Santa Clarita that you might want to share out, those types of things. Sniply is a tool that you can use in order to brand any of those articles that you found from Snip. I shouldn't say any of them. There are going to be some that won't let you add the Sniply little call to action to them. But for the most part, you'll be able to share out most of the stories that you can find on like Feedly, and be able to then add a custom little banner at the bottom that'll have, contact Richard Neville for more real estate information. And then could link them right back to your website or to the contact page or to anywhere you want to send them, whatever page you want to send them to. Okay. Grammarly is just a grammar. So it just helps you like typing. So this is really good for probably everybody at all times, not just for social media stuff, but it'll work across pretty much majority of platforms. A lot of people have integrated it in now, where it'll basically scan what your text or what you're typing out, and then tell you that you have a mistake here, you spelled this wrong, there shouldn't be a comma there, there should be a comma there should be, whatever. It's going to go through. It is limited for free. If you have like advanced grammar errors, you need to upgrade. But for the most part, and what's really cool is like if maybe you had you use the same word 2 or 3 times in a paragraph, you could just double click that word. It's going to give you synonyms of that or antonym, whatever you wanted to use, in order to look and see how to maybe change that word in order to not use the same one over and over again. So it's a pretty sweet tool. My business is going to be for like your Google My Business. So you can actually post a lot of the same things that you're posting onto Facebook, Instagram, those places, to Google My Business. So that was by engaging with that Google My Business, you're going to get that local SEO. So local SEO, that's like when somebody's searching for business, for real estate or realtors or whatever, it gives you that what they call the map block. It's like the top 3 businesses that are related to to whatever you're searching in Google. So to get your business in there, I mean, there's really no there's no way to pay to get in there. It's just a lot of times it's just by you actively using your Google My Business. So you can go through, make sure all that stuff's up to date in Google My Business. And then by posting to that, like maybe some of the content you'd be posting on social media, that'll get you to potentially be organically found when somebody's searching for a real estate agent in, Valencia or wherever. Okay. And then Repost. Repost is an app for Instagram. So maybe there's, so you guys can't like share out maybe another post from somebody else on Instagram, but with Repost, you can just copy the link to that post, put it through Repost, and then now you can share it out, repost it through your, to your Instagram account, even though somebody else posted on theirs. Okay, so in order to do that, Repost is an app for that. And then don't forget ads. So ads, we didn't really talk about ads, but ads, that's where a lot of people generate leads from. And it's a good way to brand yourself and stay in front of people. You could also have custom lists. So you can do custom lists on, I know even LionDesk has integrated that into their CRM. So, but you could also just upload a list from your own database, create a custom list. So now you're targeting your own, this is for Facebook, Instagram. So you can target your own database right on through advertisements, paid ads on Facebook. Google ads, I don't use them at all. The costs for those are way, way, way higher than like Facebook, Instagram. But something to look at maybe if you're going to be doing more video is to YouTube. So you can also, even if it's like a listing or something, you could just pay, some few bucks because I mean, really YouTube people are watching it's ungodly numbers of hours every single day on YouTube people are watching. So think of all the people here that you watch videos on YouTube and you see those ads. So you can get your listings in there. You can get like maybe a video about buying or selling or whatever the case may be that you go through, and you can get your ad on YouTube. So in between, videos people watching or while in the middle of a video that somebody's watching, you can get your video to go right into the middle of a video that might have millions of views. Okay. So that's what we got about that. So what I wanted to do now is kind of show you some of the stuff here that I shared with you. And this is some of the marketing ideas. So you can go through this at your own pace, but there's like 101 in here. So we only went through, a few things here, but there's just so much you can do, between, preparing your 30-second pitch and, swag stuff, putting additional sharing buttons across your websites. There's a number of different things you can do. And virtually all of these I'll be able to can help you with. So if you go through these, housing guides, we have those for you guys. If you want them more branded, you guys can contact, our marketing team, and we can get those even customized even further for you. But we do have those on the resource page that for you. And then I know Beth and Samantha have those available for you as well. And those can be actually put into our listings to leads pages that you can, share out as a Facebook ad or something like that, or even just onto your page, onto your business or Facebook pages for lead generation, which later this month, I'm gonna be talking about more about lead generation. So I don't want to go too much into different ways to generate leads in this one. It's more to think about. But this way can get you thinking about some additional ways here. You guys can go through these. We're not gonna go through them because we're about out of time. And then also we had this, the marketing plan, which I mentioned is completely fillable. So this is what hopefully kind of gets you your juices flowing to think about how to fill this out. Okay. And that was kind of the goal I didn't want to go through this word for word because, you guys can do that on your own. But what's your vision? What do you want to get your business to achieve or to accomplish for the midterm, long-term goals? And it gives you some examples here to kind of help you fill it in. So you intend to provide blank, target customers with blank service, makes them feel blank emotion, and working with me, not only during the home buying and selling process, but beyond closing, blah, blah, blah. So it's kind of to get you going, your team. So you could even have me, our marketing team on here, maybe a photographer, those types of people that go through what they do. Target customers, you can just go through a buyer, seller, whatever it's going to be, go through and check mark this. And so what this is just kind of a way for you to fill this in because if you fill it in, it's going to help you. You know, you may think you have it all in your brain, right? But by having this, you could fill it out, print it out, look at it, and continue on. You know, just follow it and make sure that you're staying on top of it, right? So, who's your target customer? You know, where do they want to live? What's their age? What's their annual income? What's your strategy to reach those people? So this is just something for you to go through and fill out. What do I want my target customer to think after receiving my marketing messages? So what do you want your customer to do? So is your goal to get them to call you, email you, schedule an appointment? And this is, like I said, you may already think you have it all figured out, but this is to get you to write it down, to maybe it'll help you hold yourself more accountable. You know, what's your goals for the year? How are you going to reach those goals? And what's your strategy for that? What actions are you going to take to implement those strategies? So, you know, the getting reviews, maybe like part of your marketing plan is to get more reviews on these different platforms. So how are you going to do that? And this, by putting it written down, will help you figure out the next steps actually completing it. Okay. So, you know, your unique selling proposition. Let's see here. We have, how do you differentiate yourself from your competition? So what do? You know, kind of, this is all, that's why it's hard to go through all this, because I mean, really, this is going to be all specific to you as the agent, right? There's no one right answer here. So how do you maintain that differentiation? Your SWOT analysis. So this is like your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you can, you know, fill those in for yourself. How are you going to leverage those? All your different, so your competitive analysis. Do you look up your competitors and then see what they're doing, and then see what their strengths and their weaknesses are, and then maybe how you can learn from either those strengths or those weaknesses. So that's something that you could take a look at. How do you capitalize on those weaknesses? Some of the marketing material. So here's just some of those things that, you know, the website, social media, you could advertise, email drip campaigns, newspaper ads, direct mail postcards, signage. You know, so what are you doing here, if anything? What is your budget? What's your notes? So a lot of this has to do with, like, you know, creating that budget, right? I know that's like business plan, but also marketing plan is how much you're spending on these things. And then how much are you really actually getting from it, right? If you're spending all this money in this one area, but then you're really not getting any return in that area, maybe you need to refocus that money on something that's getting you a better return on the investment, right? So what are your milestones that you have? So your lead generation techniques. So here's what we're just talking about. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's your commission, sorry. You know, how many generate, how many do you get from that? Average selling price, average commission return. So now this is generating how much return you're getting on that investment that you're spending on of these different areas. So if you're spending any money in these different areas, how much are you spending? How many clients did you actually get from that you could actually track back to that? And then how many of those closed and sold? And then what percentage of that commission do you apply to that? Okay. Lead conversion, converting leads. So this is really something that you could help for your sales forecast, what you want it to look like, customer service. So this is really for you to fill in and kind of evaluate what you're doing and maybe what you want to do, and then definitely what you did in the past to see what's working, and then how to adjust that, and then hopefully some of the things that within you know, this marketing ideas, and then the plan here we're talking about with social media can help you kind of get together what you might be doing in the future in order to generate more, to stay in touch with your people, that your current contacts, and to generate new business from attracting new people through social media and through a number of those different platforms. Okay, does anybody have any questions here? Because that's kind of my spiel. Hopefully you guys get something out of that. I mean, because there's a lot you can do, but it really is going to depend on, you know, that's why going through this booklet here, this and filling this stuff in and seeing, you know, and also kind of creating, you know, maybe some of that pillar content and then how you're going to distribute that. Because like we were mentioning, you know, a lot of that can be used in a multitude of different areas, you know, I mean, whether it's going on to, you know, Facebook, YouTube, you're sharing it out through your newsletters, you're running ads to it. You know, maybe you have, I mean, there's so much stuff, it's hard to get it all in, but you could have, you know, videos that you could have, the QR codes, which aren't that huge, but there's even those, you know, text this number to that number where you could send them a link. You could record videos that your marketing thing for videos is, I know I've mentioned this before and it's kind of an old idea, but you know, any new lead you get in, you send them a video right away. Or you have even just pre-recorded videos for your contacts that you can share out and text blast out to your contacts about something new, you know, interest rates dropping or the market stats or something that's going on that's significant. So there's a lot you can do. And I don't want to get you thinking about all a million different things that's out there necessarily, but hopefully some of the stuff that we talked about here can kind of get you an idea of what potentially you could be doing. And, you know, if you need any help getting moving forward, creating some sort of, you know, time blocking your time to what you're going to be spending it on, creating some of that content, getting it out there, where you're going to distribute it, and how you're going to get it into the most amount of people for hopefully the cheapest amount of money and get the most return on that investment. Okay, so I don't see anything here in the chat and nobody spoke up, so I'm guessing we're okay. So I guess we'll just end it here. And if you guys have any additional questions about any of this stuff, and then I'll be getting this video recording out and sharing out these other pages and stuff. And I'll get in, what did I mention earlier? Oh, the friends list videos and how to add those friends lists into Facebook so you could easily find all your contacts in one spot. So you can just go through, like, comment, stuff, right, all on those contacts, whether they're, you know, past clients, current clients, friends, family, whoever they're going to be. But that specific targeted group that you want to focus on, so you could really get through that, so you don't make social media time suck, right? Because you can get on there, you get distracted by something, now boom, you're spending way too much time on there. But if you can get that friends list, you go right to it. You can go focus on those 5 people, get that focus 5 out of the way right away, move on to the rest of your day. Let me see if there's anything I missed here in my notes. Remember, social media is not the end all be all. It's not a silver bullet. It's just one more tool in your chest. So as we go forward in 2021, you know, business looks a little bit different than it has in the past. So it's not as face-to-face as it used to be. So doing some of this, that's why I want to kind of focus on some of that video stuff here. Because, you know, I mean, hopefully with, you know, we're going in the right direction. Well, I mean, right now we're kind of not, but you know what I mean? Hopefully with vaccines and stuff like that, we're going to be getting back to normal here eventually. But now it's more important now to be intentional, to be thoughtful, and to have a strategy and a plan in order to get in front of and stay in front of these people. Okay, everyone, that's it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. Happy New Year. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye now.